Hello everyone and welcome at today office hours. In today's office hours we are going to discuss a very common subject, and this is all about reporting and what needs to be prepared ahead of reporting, what kind of information we need for the reporting, and how actually we do the reporting and analysis based on standard BI4Dynamics reports. So let's start. So on my screen, I have a dashboard over the years, and this is a standard sales dashboard. So in case if you want to try this BI4Dynamics dashboards, I would invite you to go to BI4Dynamics web page and you click on live demo. And here on live demo, you can see this is the link how to access our reporting. And the reporting that we are using for presentation, like this one, is also the reporting that we are implementing. It also means that we are changing our reports, updating our reports constantly. I would say every quarter or so. So just check. And of course, that you cannot change the need, sales or profit or top customers. But there are patterns, which means some scenarios where you can have an idea to take some information from sales, some from inventory, and create a smart KPI so that you can benefit from the business. Now, all these reports here are out of the box, and they are set up and installed on the first time we process data in the POC. So you can always check this data ahead of purchasing, which is great because in some cases this is much more that clients would expect, and it's also putting us on a common position about discussing what do we deliver, how do we approach. So we deliver a lot out of the box, and then we are gathering the customizations that are necessary. But out of the box should be already covering 80 to 90% of the reports and reporting needs, and this should be already visible in these reports. Now, before we continue about the reporting, there are two things that are important about the reporting. So when we have a report, okay, first we have report definitions, okay. So this is something that reports without the report definition will not take you, not go very long, because as soon as you have a need sales, are you going to ask you, oh, is it item sales? Is it also some free text invoices or GL transactions? Is it a gross sales, net sales? What about discounts? What about charges? This all includes into the net sales. And however, how smart our naming convention is, you may always have an idea what your definition would be. And for that reason, these report definitions are really very important. It should be available at all time to the users. Now, one thing is to have a report definition, how the report is structured, which means how the dimension that we are using, let's say bill to customer, is connected to the sales transaction. And the other thing is in the report definition also what is the formula. Usually this is a DAX expression for managing the values here. And the same very important thing is that at all time you should also know how and when was the last time data processed, because you may not process it every 1 hour, so that data are not live. In most cases, data are processed once a day. So if something happened during this process, it's good to know. Or you may have a specific application area which is processed every hour. It's many time in the retail, or someone you want to close production orders, or you have to deliver your internet orders by the end of the day, you want to process this by 15 minutes. So this processing information is also important when you make a decision. Okay, so all these reports are important. Before we go to reports, let's have a look first at a report definition and what BI4Dynamics provides in terms of report definitions here. So let's have a look. So what we are looking at is documentation for BI4Dynamics, and its documentation has all information that is needed about understanding how the model works. So in this case, we have 12 application areas or physical cubes. And if we go just into one area, for example, sales, we can see that there are 9 transactional tables. There are 49 dimensions, and all in all are 600 measures. Now, these measures are not here to impress you, because the most important are base measures, and then there are extension, usually time intelligence extension or calculated measures. So that really important are those which are data warehouse, because they are connected to some transactional table, to a specific column, and doing the relationship between these two, it's not that difficult. So this is, for example, for the sales, which is most analyzed data. And what is also important is that when you see dimension, let's say sell to customer or bill to customer, is it connected to opportunities or sales orders or not? This X will tell you. And in the documentation below, you can see one thing, how dimension is connected to a specific, how a field, a column is connected to a dimension. So dimension, what is the source? The source can be a field, can be a table. And this is explaining how the data are connected. We believe that data are connected, dimensions and measures are connected as Dynamics users are expected to be. And then we have measures, and measures are data warehouse based, straightforward. And most common, we have some calculations that are a part of our discovery. So you can see this is a formula for each and every measure that you are going to use in the BI. Now, this document gives you a good overview of what's going on, and it's the same for all application area. Sometimes you may complain that something are not working, like vendor inventory transaction by vendor may not work, but item vendor as an attribute would work on item by inventory transactions. So this is something that you need to have close to you when you are starting analysis, because probably 90% of the measures and dimensions and the reporting queries will be very intuitively answered, but some edgy cases will really require some additional insight. That's why such a documentation about plus than 100 pages will be very helpful. This is something that you need to provide prior to the reporting. And BI4Dynamics, as a part of the project, provides this information at all time. And also this includes all customizations, so that if you have done anywhere some customizations, that number of measures or new change measure or change definition, which we don't really like to see the change definition, it's better to create a new one, will be already included automatically. And it takes only 60 seconds to create this document to have all the details that are here. So this is prior to the processing, okay? And then we are having the reports, report definition, reports, and then there is a processing information. So why is this processing information? Okay, so let's have a look at the processing information, and we're going to go to BI4Dynamics webpage. Actually, I'm just going to duplicate this guy here and going back to alerts. So this is nothing for you. This is our alerts about internal testing systems, but these here are customer alerts. So if I go to customer 360, And if I choose one customer to see how this is processing, this is the information about processing. Okay, so this is exactly one good case where yesterday, this is a processing of one data. We can see how much data is in the stage, in data warehouse, in analytics, and we also can see how much time it took for process each step. And this is not really bad because we are processing, you can see hundreds of gigabytes of data, and staging part takes 7 to 8 minutes, a data warehouse transformation about 40 minutes. And in this period, you can say, wow, that was a long time ago. No, it was yesterday. This is processing almost every hour. So the token expired and we have to refresh the token so that everything is now processed back. And this information is important because how would you analyze the data if you haven't processed? And also it's important that you have information when was the last time successfully processed data in order to require the right information. Because you may say, yeah, but this is always so. Well, based on our experience, it may not be always so, and especially you should not make a decision based on old data. So this is something that is a part of the reporting, a report definition and processing information, that if that's not working, then reports itself can be handicapped. They are not really so much useful or reliable, but you want to have them useful and reliable here. So this is something that we provide for every customer, that they can use the reporting information, when was the last time processing, and in most cases processing in once a day, but many customers want to process more often and they are free to go unless their data is too big. But this is a sizable data that you can see here. This is still processing once and every hour. Now, this was about report definition, which we have seen in the PDF, and the processing information, and both these two parts are contributing to successful reporting. Now we are going to look at the reporting layouts and what can we benefit from the reporting. Now, as explained before, these are our demo data, which you can access at any time. On the left side, these are the demo data that are based on what we call Sales Cockpit. This is a Power BI model directly connected, and it's available for Business Central customers. And this is a data warehouse-based solution where, as login as I'm here, it offers structured reports which are connected to data warehouse and semantic layer in form of tabular database. And these reports are the ones that are in our focus today, because most of customers are using a data warehouse solution. Smaller clients, those which do not have such a demanding reporting needs, are just fine with our cockpit set of reports. Now, and you can experience this by connecting to reports with account and password at all time. This is also I'm using for presentation. Now, the reports here cover all application area and come out of the box and are available on day one. It means that we don't ask questions and say, hey, how do we structure sales report? Can you provide us with the reports? Because that's not the way to improvement. So it's better for us to provide our clients, okay, look, these are out of the reports. These are based on our experience. We have done 1,000 projects. We are still in the learning mode. We'll learn from every project, but let's start with this and then check what is missing, and then let's add this as a missing point. So there are also some reporting concepts, as you can see here, how the charts are structured, what colors we are using. Colors should be same across. We're not going to cover that much again. But one very important part it is that I would really expose is that reporting currency. Now, a lot of our customers, if not majority, has international business. It means that they are buying and purchasing internationally. They have several entities in different legislations, different currencies. So a corporate currency is many times used apart from the local currency here. And usually it's a head office currency. So if you are in let's say in Dubai, then probably your currency would be dirham, not a US dollar. It can be also any other currency that you would choose, and the setting depends on BI. And why is this important? Because we provide the sets of reports that is available in local currency, and then the set of report that is available in corporate currency. So don't worry if you have international business and using multiple currencies locally, and then you want to have one corporate currency. That is taken care of. Not in this example, in this scenario here, but we provide set of reports. Let me just show this part here. Here we go, and the set of reports that we have are reports for let's say for Business Central. So this without local currency are in the local currency, without ACY are in the local currency. This set of report is for additional currency, so there are practically equal, the same content in this case. And again, how we are doing with this, how we are dealing with additional currency, we are taking last available exchange rate and transform these values in the local currency into the reporting currency. But more about that in a separate session about the financial reporting. It is just good to know at any given time you can analyze data by local currency and reporting or additional or a corporate currency, whatever you call it. We call it additional currency for the reporting here. And both set of reports are equally important for your analysis here. So this would be a general about the reporting. So what do we have as a reporting? We provide reporting for all standard application areas, and they are nicely structured, and you will be doing, because the content is a lot. So in order to make your decision faster, you will have to rely, or you will rely on colors. So you can see when you have something great, net sales is great, a lot of quantity is great, good profit margin, gross margin returns on investment is high, or a lot of items delivered late, 44% is not that good, as only 34% are great. So are late. So this is something that can help you a lot when you are consuming a lot of data, especially in a tabular form, and when you're crunching a lot of data, you can spot the data that are red, kind of alert, in a second, and those which are good also in a second here. So that's really basic of the reporting here. So what do we have on the reporting? Let's see our reporting set. So you can see the reporting covers all application area that we have here, and this is based on our demo data. Of course, we provide also the reporting for the area that are not listed here. It just means that our demo data are not that good, because all the demo data are created by BI4Dynamics. Some from the finance and operation are created by Microsoft here. So you can see that when you have the dashboards like this, it's very useful to start and integrate all the reports together. Even if the behind the scene, this is one Power BI report for sales, this is one Power BI report for the finance. So if I just show this part here, so these are actually these reports, not exactly this, but same structure, the reports. So one report per application area. But when you are publishing this to the portal, this is Microsoft portal. It's nothing special. It's Power BI Pro or Power BI Premium per user account. This one is Premium per user, where you are publishing the reports from semantic layer, from tabular database into a report layer, so that you can easily access it from mobile or from web browser, anywhere you are. So let's have a look at the reports, how they are structured. So first good thing is that we have all application area here, and the important part is you may not really feel it immediately, but that this layout is not taking a lot of space here, so that you can really see the full screen. This is like a real estate in a expensive city. You want to put as much as property, to this real estate, because it is expensive and you want to have a one view over all. So when we have reports, we always start with application area, which is similar to business area. And the first set of reports are focused on overview. And the overview is done over the years. So they can see a report over the 3 years, and 24 is just ongoing. And then you are doing some comparison, year-to-date variance, then what is important specific for that dynamics, it's a sales by type, item resource GL, item charge, or item sales or free text invoices if you're using Dynamics Finance operations. Then information about the customers or items. Will not go into the details, so I would just invite you to look at this data on your own. And then there are some specifics like top 10 items, how vulnerable are with you. You can have top 10 customers by sales, new item sales. You are maybe checking how are you accurate with delivery, are you on time or are you late with delivery to your customers. Of course, if you are the retailer, then you don't talk about the delivery because you deliver over the counter. But if you are a distributor, you have manufacturing process, then it's important to have this. And even this is telling it's a sales dashboard. There is a blend of receivables and inventory, because it makes sense that when you sell, you also collect your receivables, and you want to be operational with at least as stock value as possible to make a good profit. So by the way, relationship between the stock value and profit percentage. Profit is gross margin return on investment. We'll talk about this relationship more, but in a nutshell, the reporting is a relationship between different KPIs. So I just prepared this picture here. If we are doing the reporting, so what really the reporting is, where is this reporting? Okay, let me just see one more report here. No. So reporting is actually the relationship between the different categories. So we have a sales category. In our case, this is a profit. And then we have inventory, stock value. So relationship between the stock value and profit that we are generating is gross margin return on investment. Of course, you are familiar with also profit, which is a relationship between the cost and sales value. And there is a turnover in days, which is a relationship between the cost of goods sold and inventory. And there are a lot of other similar KPIs. So we'll come to that later. Now, with an overview, another important aspect of reporting is defined the date dimension. And this is the most important dimension. It's not the most difficult, but it's the most important, because you should always know what is the filter as context of the date here. So we have years, okay, we have some filters, for example, of current year, and the layout, closer we go to the date, more tables we are going to absorb. More we are looking over the time, then we are more focused on the charts. If we are looking at the current month, then in most cases we don't expect to have a lot of charts. I mean, you can have, but it's usually more of a tabular approach. So let's have a look at one application area. In this case, it's sales. What kind of information we provide in the sales area. So it is first we start with an overview, sales with different variants, item sales, GL sales, free text invoices, and some information about customer or definitely company if we are doing it. So it's top right, it's always good to have a company, or we filter one company. Then depending on what matters for the businesses, for example, new customer sales or percentage of new customer sales, some statistics, number of invoices, average deal amount, quantities, selling price, top items and new items. That's interesting if you are more into the new customer, or if you are more into the new item, and how much of the top 10 items are creating to you. The same KPI you can have top 10 customers. Profit or gross margin as it is defined by net sales minus cost of goods sold, and how the profit is growing comparing to the sales growing. You can see profit growth and sales growth, profit percentage. Here we have already one not so common use but very useful gross margin return on investment. One pattern to cover here is delivery performance. Are you on time or late with the delivery? And if you are late, what is your average days late in delivery? We have the same KPI also in the purchasing. This is some overview for the sales. And how would I rate this? Well, when it's green, it's usually good. I mean, it should be good, right? So a lot of sales or trend is growing, like this one here, is good. Now, don't be handicapped if you have current year and you see, oh, this is red. But in this case, we just filtered out, let's say, how was this January and February? And let's just select the January and February or one particular period here. So let's just wait this to be refreshed, and it will give us an insight how are we doing year on year. So this is January and February. We can see, wow, actually, as it looks, it was not that bad. Actually, we have doubled the January, February, or January sales. You can see this is January only, or January and February. Let's see how it was compared to the previous year. So that's why it's good to have a year here. And you can see also how the data are changing over the year. So it was flat, but now we are really having a good situation here. So this is something that is useful when you want to see specific period. That's seasonality including in here. And apart from the sales information, we also want to see a quick overview about the receivables information and the right information, not to skip its turnover in days, because everyone will be looking at the receivable balance and overdue, but also how fast are we collecting money from our customers and payment terms, and also how fast are we moving item stock value. We want to do a lot of sales with very low stock, so this is turnover in days, shorter the better. Now this is pretty much a basic view, and apart from the overview, we also would look at the data on a monthly level, and closer we go, more details are we looking at. So for example, this dashboard has similar view as the previous one. It just gives us the insight about sales. So it's apart from the sales, we have rolling or moving 3 months, 12 months, item sales versus non-item sales. Then you have average invoice value. Okay, so other things are fine. And then we extend it. For example, here we have stock value, growth or decrease or increase on a monthly basis, turnover in days, which is something that's super important when moving items, inventory aging. So most of our inventory is I guess more than 1 year old. You can see this red here, it's more than 1 year old, and the green one is decreasing. So the new stock we are selling and the old stock is just not moving anywhere. And for example, out of stock items or percent of items out of stock could be, and some specific KPIs, gross margin, return on investment. This is something that includes the definition stock value and how much stock is producing, how much profit is stock producing. Gross margin, returns on investment. Investment is inventory value, and gross margin is gross margin. So the higher the better, and you cannot just decide and increase it because there is latency in inventory and selling process. But once you have this KPI, you can check how good this is over time and which items are generating more profit and which are less. Cash conversion cycle. And this actually is one example of average stock value divided by profit. Actually, this is gross margin, return on investment explained. So why are we increasing gross margin? Because actually we are decreasing the value of average stock value. You can see we are decreasing it, and at the same time, double trouble, actually positive, we are increasing the profit here. That's why this is going so steep up here. Less inventory, we do less with we do more with less stock here. Standard part is this receivables part here. Now When we are doing the analysis, it's common that we are focusing on a root cause of events, and when we are looking at the sales, we just narrow down basic sales. So you can see this dashboard here is focused only on sales, and as I go also from yearly sales to monthly sales, you can see that there are more and more tables that we show in the view, and sometimes the tables are really good for information, and sometimes they're good to be used as filters because you want to see how are domestic customers doing in this period, for example, compared to the foreign customer and so on. So apart from the numbers that you can see here, they are used also for filters here. Okay. Now still we are in the overview, and one very important aspect is additional currency. And when you're using a reporting currency, it means that all the reports are available in reporting currency. What it means that if I'm looking at the reports here, and these reports here are in the reporting currency, and these reports here are in the local currency. So you get always the set of both reports, and depending on the nature of the business, you are going to use either one or other report. So it's important that you know that at any given time you get two sets of reports. Either you have a lot of inflation, for example, and then the gains in the local currency are not that effective in the reporting currency, or you have international business where you want to consolidate business in corporate or reporting currency. So just a quick sidekick how the reporting currencies works. This is setting in your dynamics, and the calculations is done in your dynamics, and the the calculation exchange rate are in your dynamics, and the last available exchange rate on the date of transaction is used for converting the local currency into the reporting currency. So that is the way how the transformation work. And you ask, is this the only are these the only measures about the reporting currency? Well, no, there are about 250 measures that are showing only the reporting currency information here. So it's really well supported for this. Now we are going through the sales, and we are discussing the concepts. Maybe a little more we'll spend about the sales. We'll go fast through other application area here. So another aspect of doing the analysis is doing some comparison. In the sales, we have sales budgets or sales forecast. So you're doing the comparison against the customer sales or item sales. More often it's about item sales, but sometimes we have both, and you want to see immediately where are you dealing it. So we are having some issues here that our sales budget on year-to-date basis 30% behind the last year or the schedule. It can be better than last year, or if you're used to looking at the index, it means 1 minus this. So index is not used that more. Variance is better because it gives you positive and negative value, while index is 100% is same, and lower is less, and above is more. So it's minus and plus is better to use a variance than index here. And the visuals, you can see the visuals on a monthly level and on a cumulative level here. And of course you want to filter and check which part is performing or not. So still we are looking at the sales area and the reporting, but this is applicable to all application area. So we're not going to spend, and I'm not going to explain every report all the time. It's more about the concept of the reporting. One and most important dimension is date, the one and only date. Date has a lot of attributes, probably 30 attributes, at least 20, 30 for sure. So you are doing all kind of comparison, but first you have to know what is the date. And in this dashboard is current year. So another dashboard below here is current month. So there is not a good idea to have a filter and change the layout of the year, because it will also change the granularity that you want. Current month is by date and current year is by month. And yes, you can always drill down, but how would you analyze 365 days? Doesn't make sense. You can have top date or something that you would like to do, but it doesn't make sense. So you can see while we are here on a year, it still includes some of the reports in a chart like form. Closer we go to a shorter period, more we are looking at the tables, less we are looking at the reports. And also one thing that is quite visible here, we are having quite a lot of KPIs. As you can see here, sales, year-to-date variance, number of deals, profit and profit percentage. This is gross margin, days late in delivery and amount late. Then we are blending in some receivable information and customer exchange. So this means we increase the receivables, and this is decreasing the receivables, which is great. And customer turnover, these are some specifics. Top 10 item sales, gross margin, return on investment, stock value turn, sell-through rate, and how many buying or new customers we have or potentially new items. So we can pick more information and put these KPIs that are important for us into the KPI like this, because what we measure is what we change. This is something that is known to everyone. Now, current year, you can see has some charts like, and of course, whenever we change a layout of the report by clicking, selecting a member, the shape will take, I mean, this is Power BI, I will not spend much more about this. This is expand that we do. So definitely have one layout of the report for current year or more of them for current year, for current month or current quarter or previous quarter. They deserve a special report, definitely. So it's better to click, for example, from current month. If you are the first week, nothing maybe have not happened like this. We have 25 days, which is great, should be simple. And then you will use a lot the previous month. I know that we can have just one button here quick, but believe me, it's better that you have the two reports separately, because over time you may have also some small minor changes between the layout of the reports between the current month and previous month, and you are looking this a lot. And then concept about reporting. Now this is kind of interesting. Over the years, we found out the concept that works, and I will explain this to you. It is applicable to any entity. In our case, entity in focus is customer. It is applicable to items, to stores, to vendors, to GL accounts, to any entity. Most simple is to understand, let's say, in the case of a customer. So what do we have here? Now, first we are bringing the data in a table, and this is without the date filter in terms of defining specifically current year, current month. It's the filter that you can use at any given time, and we are doing the comparison between different customers. So it's a customer table and some grouping of the customer. You can see these are grouping which are filtering the customer by some attributes. So this is customer country. I know this is very simple, but it's just something to explain. Customer discount group. Some of them do not have discount group at all, or the retailers, for example, in terms of the discount. Okay, and then there are posting groups. Of course, most important is the customer posting group or item posting group or vendor posting group, which is always the most important property in terms of the business, in terms of the finance. They defined also different balance sheet accounts, and the KPIs that you can see here are referring to this. So foreign customer should reflect only current customer. Now, this is nothing special, interaction between the two visuals, that's clear. But what is important is that first we start with the table, and then we are looking at the same KPIs by date. And this is good because we see the trends. We start with the view where we're in a table, and then we go to see the trend. And this is the whole company. Now we want to see only local customers, for example, or we want to see some specific group of customers. That's all attributes grouping is all about. So you can see easily that February was good and we are growing fine, and yeah, also reflects slightly on our receivables here. You can see when we are growing a lot, the customer owes more than previous period here, and information that is available, it's all in colors. I will not go into the details because there is quite self-explaining. And you can see here, this is a date, here is a customer group, and entity, company, one or more companies you can have. Mostly we have 200 companies, so in this case that would be quite a long list of the companies used. This is one aspect of the data, customer by date. we had customer table. This is the starting point of the data. And then we want to see the relationship between the balance sheet and profit and loss in a chart-like format. So this is not this one, it's customer chart. So this is this one. So what do we have? One category is net sales, which is a profit and loss category, and receivable balance is the balance sheet category. And the relationship between these two, how much are we selling and how are customer paying our bills, is turnover. Shorter the better. So definitely 180 days is not good. In this scenario, 35 days is much better. These are static information for the selected period, and you can see these reports here in a format over the period of 2 years. And again, what we have, sales and receivable balance, where these data are showing some trends. If you want to see, let's say, German customer, okay, then we can see the German customer. If you have another idea about the grouping of the customer, this is something easy to do. So here is by customer, you can have a customer group, by discount group, by segment, anything that comes into your idea that best reflects your grouping, you can use this, but at least you have something to start with. So what is the point? You can see the data in this relationship here. They are nicely colored, but you can also see the trends. So the trends is important because if, for example, my receivable balance, which is red, are going to grow and the sales is flat, then that's not a good customer, because sooner or later we'll be having problems by collecting the receivables. So for example, let's say this customer here, it's really not giving us a good sense, because maybe we not even have such a customer in this demo case. But when you see the data are going into the scissors, like receivables are growing and sales not, or inventory is growing and sales is not, in terms of the managing inventory, that's where you need to have a closer look. So the visuals are really very good. Tables give you quick information, but visuals will give you a good trend what's going on between the two categories. Just one category sometimes is good, like sales or profit, but it's also good to see the relationship between the two categories. Okay. So this is about entity. So we have a tabular view. This is step number one. Then we are having the same information by date. And this is the one that is showing the trends. It's easy to digest, and we have the decision will be done by colors. Green is good, red is bad. And then we have the information about visuals, which is a combination of this. And then there are different extensions of this. So for example, if your nature of the business is that you heavily rely on top customer, so you can see this will help you a lot. Top 3, 5, and 10 customer, how much revenue in selected days they make to you, and this is it, and how much revenue they make to you in the current year, because how vulnerable you are. Now, the benefit of having few customers is cost of doing business is low. The handicap is you are vulnerable, because if 10 customers walk away, then you lose half of your business. So this is good to track, and this percentage is 3, 5, 10 can easily be changed, and you can change this by any other number here. It's not difficult part here. And if I just show this formula here, let me just go into the formula, because formula here for this doesn't really matter. We didn't change the formula, and we go for the sales, and we go for the receivables here. Okay, new customer, lost customer. Let me just look for top customers. Top customer. So where do we have this? Okay, here it is. So this is ranking. That's another thing. This ranking and item ranking, and here it is. Okay, yes. So here it is. So item rank or customer rank, doesn't really matter whether we're looking at the customer sales or item rank. So I'll just explain this real quick. It's percentage, shows us percentage-wise division between the item rank top 10 and total item sales. So what is item rank top 10? How much are 10 customers contributing, or how much are 10 customers or items contributing? This entity, item, or customer can be easily changed. And this is then a top 3, you can see, or top 10 or top 5. It is sales in the period divided by item sales, where items are then put out of filter. So top 3 items where the filter are against all sales. So 3, 5, 10. If this is too small of a number, you can see all you need to do is change this number here into the ranking, and then it will have also the ranking percentage this. So this is important to know how it's good to have low cost of doing business with few entities, customer, vendors, or items, but that's also meaning that you are vulnerable. If something goes wrong with item, customer, or vendor, then you are going to be hit. So this is something that it's good to have the formula available at all time. So this is about it. It's available in all application area. We are looking a little closer into the sales, but the concept is same across all application areas. So we are not going to spend same details in all other areas, for sure not. So we are going to check Customer 360. So this is another aspect of gathering information from sales into everything related to the customer. Maybe not everything. We may have some additional transactions related to the service or to some other aspects, and it's easy to do. We are going to rely on data based on the table, based on the chart, to see some trends. And what's important here is that we also invented, not really invented, but just put into the dashboard customer ranking, where this customer, this is selected customer here, this is a selection button. So if I just select this, for example, I have all customer, but if I select one customer, okay, it's going to change the data. Let me just come back with one, just randomly selecting the first one, and wait, the data are refreshing. So you can see because we may have 100 customer or 10,000 customer or more. So how do we know if customer is important to us? How do we rank the customer? Now, we have two options: ranking, doing it absolute value, so it's 1 to number of customers and something in between, or a relative. So it's kind of better to have a relative ranking, because you may have 100 customer today and tomorrow 1,000 customer. So if you say, look, this customer is ranked 35 percentile in the sales, so you will know over the time what it means. Of course, behind the scene is also the ranking that is based on the number, not percentile, but the count or the value that we are looking at. At that time, the more customer you have, the number may have a different impact on your information here. So ranking as a percentile is better. So 1 is top and 100 is bottom here. So you can see, and also one aspect of doing the analysis, when you're ranking an entity, customer, item, or vendor, it's not only one attribute. So for example, this is how much you make, how much it is growing absolute term, how much it's growing in relative term and relative term percentage. All kind of things are important, and how much profit and profit percentage you do, how much troubles you have for a relative percentage, and is it difficult or is it to collect receivables from this customer here. So ideal, everything would be 1, but of course, more customer we have, they are different. And all the information here at the document and in this layout, go to the document layer. So if we want to see quickly, hey, what is this quarter? And that it means that we'll go to a document level. We have top 3 documents, top bottom documents, and also when it's interesting here, when we have information about 9,000, it's overdue. We can see documents are here. What are the documents open here? So having customer 360, item 360, vendor 360, store 360, it's very good, and you put the information in this layout that is important for you to track. So we provide this template, and you can always easily adjust these templates to the need. Now, we have spent a little more time about explaining reporting basics, and we'll just go really quick through the same concept for items. So we have item table, voila, with a lot of KPIs here. Item aging, items stock that is not moving for more than a year. Happily, we don't have it. And then we have information about the item date. Okay, and this is, as we said, the view by date, where the colors are showing us the trend. Top items, like we had top customers, we have top items. So this is something also good to know. And this shows us the trends, top 3, 5, 10, or the number that you have here. You can have a look at your time. And customer, and our case, item chart, relationship between the net sales, which is a balance sheet, and profit and loss, which is a stock value. So this is, not really successful selling, I would say, because we are using a lot of inventory to achieve the pool position in our sales. So that's reflecting as 365 days turnover here. And yeah, you can always go and here, and you can say, okay, I want to exclude this because this y-axis is taking all the glory. And then you can go and continue the analysis with other ranking items. Okay, this is something that I unintentionally filtered. And this is where you can interact with the reports here. You can see the layout, or I hope I will not get lost here with this report because the dashboards are very interactable. Oh, we are back here. So you can see the trends between the stock value, which is red, and sales, which is gray here. And this is the layout that we are already familiar with. Now, apart from the customer and item, then we are looking at some new interactions. So how are we doing with the new sales? So if I just go really quickly for the beginning of the reports and check dashboards by year. So I'm just jumping for a second here. If this is important, if new sales are important, then you put the new sales and the new items and new customers as a percentage on the top dashboard. And when you have here, you can go not analyze, but you can jump to the report that will fetch you to the new customer. New customer. Okay, where we are. New customer, new sales. This is it. This is something, the benefit of clicking through the report will also pass you the filter. So you will automatically have that particular item or that particular customer or entity that you're using for. So what do we have here? In our business, we are looking at this year and this year data only. So we have only 4 new customers and 1 new item. So if we just go and set last year, so we can see a little more dynamics. Okay, last year should be also filtered by date. And let's just see the data. So we have 6 new customers. These are 6 new customers and 2 new items. Okay, not really great. 1% of new customers and 1.3% a lot of new item sales. So whenever we have some data, the impact of new business is important, and where does it happen? In which customer and which item? You can do the cross analysis, so you can see which item category is fetching you a new business or which customers are bringing. By filtering, by clicking of any category, the data will take a shape and will give us this information. Also, you can see that regardless on the new item sales, how many new customers did we have in this particular item, and it means that we have 17 that previously didn't buy item, but they are not categorized as new customer sales or new item sales because this item has been already sold before. And what is the criteria? It's the filter that we are using in this case. This is the filter. Prior to this, we didn't have any sales. That's the criteria of new. And that goes more into the details about new customers, same like new items. you can see a little more specifics about customer types. We can see item category, what they're buying. Then we add also buying customer, returning customer, new customer, and one-time customer, plus temporary lost customer for a week, for a year, month, 3 months, 6 months, or a year. So what is a temporary customer? Let's say I buy item in January, so in February I'm temporarily lost. I didn't have repeat business until I repeat the business again. Then I'm qualified as a returning customer. In between, I'm a lost customer. So that's the theory behind this. And we can go into the very details about the new customer, so you can see how many aspects you can analyze. This is just one pattern about a new customer analysis. So where the new customer are coming, what are the returning customer, what is the relationship between these two, top 5 customer lost, top 5 customer by item sales, by total top 5 customer, can be also 5 or 10 or any number that you want to have, and some trends for temporary lost customer. These are not lost customer, but temporary lost customer. Hopefully, of course. If they are lost customer, then you can't do nothing about it. So this is one aspect of doing the analysis. And there is another aspect of doing the analysis is for how many days we haven't sold specific item. If this is, we are selling for an item. So this is item sales in this period. And this is how many days passed since last sales or how many days passed since last customer transaction. And they have some patterns, and we want to analyze these patterns. So this is something where can be interesting, where you are seeing customer changing customer habit in terms of which items they are buying. They are still doing well, but they are changing assortment, or you are not successful with some selling strategy because, let's say, competitor across the street opens a nicer, better shop, and they will take you the money here. So this is something where assortment is very important. Even if the whole numbers are great, then the last sales transaction will tell you what is the change in the assortment so that you can adjust your offering to this. So even if the numbers look great, you can see the change in assortment, and you don't want to be stuck with unsoldable inventory. Few more things to look at the sales. So geolocation, of course, that's important. More information that you gather from your dynamics, more information you can display. In most cases, we are looking at the data by country, or if you're local, by city or geolocation here. So you can see this layout is automatically set up by sales by country for European customers, and this is a domestic. It's a preset as a UK as a domestic customer to see where we are doing business. It's very visual, it's very simple. And another thing is that when we are doing this analysis, the base measure is net sales. However, based on the net sales as a measure, we provide way more information here. So if we look at the values here and we would like to bring more information about the sales, I can tell you there are 52 time intelligent variances of a net sales. Most simple are 3 and 6 and 12 month moving average that we are displaying here. There is year on year, year to day, last, previous, and so on and so on. So based on one measure, you would not believe 52 time intelligence measures are available in BI4Dynamics to show you the trend. Maybe you need 3-month trend, a yearly trend, or anything in between. This is something that is already in the BI4Dynamics, and you can just use these KPIs here. And it's easy to create new KPIs. It's just important that you have the base measure. These measures are scripted very, very, very easily. So this is still sales, and now we're going to look at some of the patterns. Gross margin, return on investment gives us the information between how much productive our inventory is, so every stock value divided by profit, and then we are looking it by a period and by different items. So this is definitely sport equipment is great in terms of the generating the profit, and January was great. Last year was not so good, but we are starting good in this case. Scatter chart is bi-dimensional chart where we are looking at some KPIs that change over time. So one dimension is date, the other is anything that you choose. In our time is profit. So yeah, it can be interesting. These are items, and these are previously received customer group. So this is something to play around. And another very ERP-like or operational information is about our delivery performance. So what it tells us, let's go to the details before we go to the big picture. Let's explain this on the detail level. By the way, spoiler alert, the same information is available for purchasing. So I'll just explain it only once here. So let's see the January for our customer beef house. So we had 3 shipments, 1 return shipment, and this shipment was 2 days late, this shipment was 1 day late, and this shipment was 1 day late. So why do we have 1.3? Because this is an average based on the value here. So posting date and days late is transformed into the days late. And when you have 1.3, because we are calculating the average, it means that we took into account also the amount. We are doing the days late based on the amount. We can calculate also amount late or quantity late. So at the end, we result what is the total amount late, or in terms of the lines, or in terms of the quantity. It depends on what you're looking at. So over the period, you can see this was a good month, 1.6 days late, 40% late. But next month, 90% of our shipment was late, on average 2.9 days late. Not a good satisfaction score at the customer here. So these are the demo data, and the data in real life can be different, hopefully, because this is not really good, because 30% of our shipment is late, on average 2.4 days late. And we can see where we are late for which customers. These customers have been delivered always on time. And we can see some patterns. Is it depending on the category, item category, or customer geolocation or relationship that we have here? So this is something for you to find out. And always you will have the information about the delivery performance that goes to the document level. Let's say sales order line, it means we have a date information, we have customer information, we have item information, and the document information. So based on all this information, we are able to see all the KPIs about our delivery performance. And by the way, the same information is available in the purchasing part. So it's absolutely the same to score our vendor. This is a non-financial score, but this is important. If you have a lot of delivery lates, then you have to keep higher stock, or you may go away from the business. Open orders, nothing special. You want to see the open orders. This is something available. And then there are some specifics in Dynamics Business Central. Services or resource table, we can see this information about and item attributes and customer attributes. So why is this important? At the end of this report, we always expose what are the attributes. We may not have put everywhere all the tables into the reports, because you can see here we have 8, and probably we could bring another 8. But this is just something that's already nicely structured and colored, so that you want to analyze by item discount group, or it's irrelevant, you may not use it. So different from business to business, you'll just copy paste and paste it into the report page. So the same with the customer attributes. You can see they're nicely structured. So just here to be copy paste and used into other pages. These are auxiliary pages, not so much to be analyzed by, but good to be used. Now, last in this case are financial or global dimensions. So this is like cost center, department, line of business, product group, or anything that is financial. And it's available in Business Central up to 20. And we can have as many as global dimensions as we want if we program it, but usually 20 is just fine. So this is something where financial information come into the picture, and the grouping is it's not really financial, but the point is that this information also is available in the financial area. It means that I can use financial information and combine it with operational information. Financial information is available everywhere, in inventory, in sales, and in the finances. So when I'm using the finances, I can do additional operations to make them even richer. So financial dimensions are great, and they're especially used or used a lot also in the general ledger, in the finances. Last but not least, it's also important to know what we are dealing with. So in this case, when we are analyzing, actually I should start with this, is what was the last time we refreshed our data. So this is refreshed was like 15 years ago, 15 hours ago. 15 hours ago, so data are fresh, they are not from the current date. And it's also good to have some information about instance name. Then we have the name of data warehouse and semantic or tabular database, some setting of the data, and some setting of the date. Date is very important. So how are we compressing data? What is the start, end, and some license information or information about SQL. In this case, we are residing on a SQL. Okay, and some information about this. So this is more important part, is to know when the data have been refreshed, and based on this refreshed data, we know that if it took, let's say, if it takes half an hour, so all the data since, let's say, midnight are inclusive in this report here. So this is always good to have in every report. Or if you're processing every day in the morning, 8 o'clock, you don't really need to know, because you can be sure the data are coming fresh to this. So this would be one application area. We spent a little more, but we are going to fly through all the other application areas. So let's just go really quick further on. I would say, do you have any questions? But it would take more time to enter into the pool gap. So I'll just continue with presentation here, but we are moving fast. Now we are going from operational data to the financial statements, and financial statements are created within the Dynamics, and the financial statement would in most cases present some simple profit and loss, in some cases also balance sheet report. So in our case, we have profit and loss categories which have 7-8 rows, and this is quite a good thing to have a more condensed view over the data. And because it looks, it's not a full profit and loss statement for financial reporting. Of course, it can be appended also, but for business decision making, you can see it's already a lot of information here. So profit and loss by date, profit and loss by business unit. This business unit can be entity, can be cost center, department, anything that you defined as a business unit. Profit and loss by date, because you may have some seasonality. And what is important, that profit and loss would be, if you are using Dynamics BC, would be account schedule. If you're using finance and operation, older version would be financial statement. If you're not using financial statement, or you have challenges of creating account schedules, then you can create a financial statement as calculation group inside of the Power BI, publish it, and you get the same result as this here. So you are not limited only to the financial statement that come from Dynamics, although it's the best to do it, just that finance and operation no longer support that. So you have to create it in Dynamics. You can use Tabular Editor. It's very useful for this. So financial reports will give you between 5 and 20 financial statements, and this is a simple one where definition is based on the GL account, plus we can have our own definition of KPIs. So operating cost divided by revenue as a percentage, or you can have any definition of GL account category. These are GL accounts, GL account categories. Behind that we have GL accounts. So let us see some of the, okay, just a second here. What is important in all the views, I just missed this part here to mention, is, yes, this is a big picture here. And if you want to see, for example, let's say operating cost, this part here. When I click, I will get immediately voucher level granularity, almost immediately, but still we are looking at the whole year data, and the data are going to be shown in here. So you can see this data 7810, it is payroll, depreciation, and so on. So this is 7.8 million here. So whenever you're one click away from a big picture like this one to the voucher level granularity. The data is compressed, highly compressed, and is residing in memory in a tabular database that can be hosted locally in Azure Analysis Services or in Power BI Premium, doesn't really matter. So it's going to be retrieved very fast. So that's why you don't have to do compromise. Oh, whether I go for aggregations or go to the granularity, you can have it both. Even with terabyte of data, you can still have it both. Maybe not for all years, but for current year, if also with terabytes of data, should not be a problem. So this is one view about custom indicator, and then we're looking at these KPIs by profit and loss and balance sheets, just as an example that everything we can have. And when we have profit and loss KPIs, then we usually show the trends because of the seasonality of the business. It's good to see, oh, business are growing, even if, let's say, after the New Year time, business is not growing because it's a seasonal business, but you can still see the trends here. So this is something really good. You can also put the trends to the balance sheet accounts, and they may give you also some insights here. But naturally, we are more focused on the profit and loss because this is where it begins, and then the result of our work is in the balance sheet. Okay. Now, everywhere in the financial reporting, we can enrich our transactions with financial dimensions. You can have unlimited financial dimensions, but you probably would not use unlimited, but between 3 and 5 are most commonly used. So anywhere you have financial dimensions, you can bring it on, and BI4Dynamics will present and give you this information here. So this is another example of doing the comparison by revenue actual, previous year variance, and various percentage, and the same comparison by date or comparison by business unit for current year. So the filter here is current year, and we can see how the current year businesses are doing. Another aspect of financial reporting, we are now in the financial reporting, but it's applicable to our all application area, is that we can have normally date hierarchy, which is January to December, and we can have also a fiscal calendar where our fiscal year starts not with the January. In this case, it starts with 1st of June. And what is not a challenge, but something that you have to figure out, you have to figure out the formula for year-to-date fiscal so that it is cumulative, and you can do the comparison on a cumulative way in order to have this data. So what I see here, this is not sorted right because I can see June, okay, and this is sorted right, 22, 23 is December, and this data June, okay, this is something we should sort. I just see, okay, now this is better. Okay, so this is still not okay. So this is something where when you are working on, be careful that dates are sorted right, because you may have a wrong impact on your decision making here. Another aspect about reporting is that we have everywhere local currency and corporate currency. And the corporate currency is something that you set up in BI4Dynamics. It will pick up the exchange rate for your dynamics so that the data will have duality. You can see the net change for our costs or revenue, regardless, in a local currency, and 3 times more value-wise are GL transactions. And the percentage-wise, if we have inflation, then this is showing the 20% growth, while in the reporting currency it shows the 25% growth. Okay, so this is something that is always important to know and to compare. If you are working in international business, then you already have this experience, especially with some countries which have more inflation than others. So this is already taken care about by BI4Dynamics. So this would be a short overview of reporting needs for the finances. The financial reports are created based on financial statements that are calculation groups. If you are not using the standard one, we're also transferring the standard one into calculation groups. And here we are not touching base now, but Excel is really heavily used. And okay, this is something left over. Now, really quick about the other application area. We spent a little more time on the sales and the finances just to show the few highlights here. This is easy to consume, receivables by year or receivables by month. Let's just go receivables by month. You can see already by the color, and here are the trends of going on. We have seen already before the concept about customer table, that is layout over the table. You can see the red is bad, the green is good. The data by date, where we are seeking the trends for specific KPI, and green is good, red is not so good. And charts is relationship between the profit and loss and balance sheet, in our case receivables and sales, and the KPI between is turnover in days. Lower the better. And specific for the receivables and payables is aging, in a way also for inventory, but this is specific for in receivables and payables, where we're looking over the time. Are customers paying our invoices before due or overdue? And what is the leftover is how long is it takes to get paid, and what is the structure of our receivables or payables. So this is something it is here, and at any given time, the relationship, if we say, let's say 17,000 minus, what is this here? And we'll have all the details to the document level. You can see few transactions that were total minus 17,851. So this is good when you have some numbers that you don't agree immediately. You can just click on this and you will have the totals on a document. Since the database is in memory, this interaction will be fast even if you have more data. No worries about that. Good. Now we follow up a few more visuals. So this is visuals that you can spend days, hours and days to create visuals based on the maps. It is just amazing how great these things are. So I just don't want to spend a lot of time, but more interesting is aging, for example, in specific for the receivables and payables. If you want to know who owes us money more than 2 years, it gives you exactly which customer it is. And if I click, for example, on the customer, then I have a document of what is going on here. So you can see this document 300,000, 300,000. So I can see what is going on. Also, if I click for a specific customer, I can see how they are doing over time here. So this highlighted, everything is here overdue. So a lot of such interaction reports can be used. And at the end of each application area are attributes. These are like Lego blocks that can give you an idea to use this report, these visuals into some of the reports, because all you need to do is copy paste. So this was sales and receivables, most and finance, and these are most heavily analyzed data. So what I'm going to do is just quickly go through inventory, and not so much for the retail and purchasing, because these are such a big areas that require specifics. I'll just quickly touch base this area too. So on inventory, inventory actually is a part already in the purchasing and selling, and as a result, we purchasing and selling and manufacturing process, we have some balance, increase and decrease, and we are moving items around. So turnover lower the better. We have seen already gross margin, return on investment. Higher profitability is better. It means that our average stock produce more profit. Higher is better. Then we have balance and we have average balance for the period, because balance is at the end of the period. Average balance is daily average, so it's important. And when it comes to receivables and payables, also in the inventory, we have aging. It means for how many days items are not moving. Now, sell-through as one of the turnover categories is something that is on this demo data doesn't look so good, but we look at the item level and other information that are, I think, quite explicable. So the reports are always in the same pattern. So we have yearly trend, then we have monthly views and information about an entity. In our case is item in a table. Here you can see that it's not just sales, it's also purchasing and inventory information here. So I'll not go to the details, but can see this by the color: selling price, purchase price, stock cost, and last purchase price. It's kind of a lot of information is available in here. And item by date and item chart. We have seen this already before, so we are seeking over the KPIs in this period. So let's just get to more current periods just for a demo ourselves. And this is something that can be useful. You can see it's quite quickly changing the data. And chart, it is showing us the trend between the selling and inventory in our case. So we have really slow moving items because you see everything is quite many days it takes. But really this depends on the industry. So it's for someone 300 is not a lot. In inventory, we have also aging. So the aging is telling us how many days items are not moving. And this is very useful because in our case, you can see the inventory value is going down, but unfortunately, this is something that I already seen many times. Items more than 100, more than a year are not moving at all. Under 100 days, yes, these are going really down really quick. 100 days to a year, also we are decreasing, but it's hard to get all inventory to sell all inventory. And then we are looking, analyzing, hey, where is this all inventory? Where are these 3.38 million? So we can see 3.3 million are in this item and in this item and in this item. So we can already plan what to do with these items. So we have them on these items. So if I click on this item, we also should know in which locations are, because we have more than one locations. If you're a retailer, you can do some activities. You should not have negative value here because it means something is wrong. Okay. And then you can see the whole picture over the time, which will tell you what is the stock value over time and where is this stock value distributed, for how many days items are not moving. So longer they are not moving, the more problems you have, unless you are selling wine, to sell this item, because items get new models, they get technically obsolete. So it's probably good idea to sell these items as soon as possible. Not always, but in most cases, yes. And then of course, if you would like to see how a specific location doing, you can just click one and the whole shape will take the form of this data filtered by location here. And this is Power BI, it's nothing specific about this. So aging, it's a very, very, very useful aspect of looking at the data. And related to the aging is turnover, because aging gives you the slice of good and bad. The turnover is averaging this and tells you, well, this is what you get from this turnover. So you have stock value, every stock, and then as a result you are consuming items, or you are consuming stock, and as a result you are decreasing stock. So you want to have stock moving fast to get new items to make profits or to make more production. So this is something that it's also important. It's available turnover in days at any given time here. Okay, so just to finish, also the item attributes are available here to give you an idea which are the useful attributes to analyze by, depending on the client, which one do you have. Also, not all are here. If you have, for example, 30 attributes on item table, then you can use any of these 30. They are just some of them most common to be used. Okay, so now we have already checked the sales, finance, receivables, and inventory. So what we are going to do is really quickly check the specifics for manufacturing and retail and just touch base the last two and reporting on the projects. I would say if you have any questions, but unfortunately, I cannot get in the contact with you, so I'm just continuing with the presentation here. Really quick about manufacturing, we have done approximately 100 manufacturing projects. There is always ongoing few manufacturing projects. So with manufacturing, what do we have here? We have manufacturing output. So this is what we produce, and we have manufacturing input. This is what we consume. So let's start with consumption. We are producing raw materials. You can see this is total consumption, which can be a part of the raw material or item consumption. Work center consumption, we can have also additional cost allocations, and then we have some specifics. Let's say this is telling us that 80% of our costs are item costs, so 20% are capacities or allocations or work centers. Okay. We are looking at some trends. So this is consumption part. So we are first consuming based on the recipe, what we are consuming, where we are producing items. This is manufacturing. And then the end result is an item that is produced. So if I check, for example, let's say Leo Messi Barcelona 01, this is one item. Then it will show, the picture will show how much have I produced. So this is the total output value, total quantity, average cost per item over the year, how accurate were our expectations. So 100% is 100% accurate, and these are indexes, not variances. And this is very accurate. You can see it's always navigating around 100%. And this is the average quantity, value, quantity that we produce over time. This is in hundreds of thousands. Average cost, it's increasing. Accuracy about our planning, it's around 1. It's great to have this. And below here is the recipe, what we have consumed. Mostly in this case, we have been consuming cotton and some paper, some wood, some other stuff, and it has been produced in Mexico. In this case, this item has been produced in Mexico. And of course, this is all demo data. In a more complex set, there are more information to track, but this is just something to start with, because you can see the output cost, quantity, and average output cost per month. If you narrow down the item or item category, it makes more sense for tracking these individual item values. And how good are your bill of materials? How are you gravitating towards 1, or is it more or less? So the information about manufacturing starts by analyzing output. So what we get out, we are analyzing by item category, and this is a product group or item, and we can analyze total amount, total quantity, and how much an item is costing us. So if I click select one particular item, then I can see the total output cost, output quantity, and average cost by period. And on the other side, this is just some examples that are here. There are much more reports also in Excel. About three Excel reports are a part of the reporting, because manufacturing is huge. So you can see what have been consumed over time. So here we don't have any filters, but date, and you can see that item sales is growing, and the work center percentage is declining. Work centers are people, machineries, resources that are being used. Item sales are material, item costs are material costs for items and bill of materials. And here we can bring already some of the group relationships and work center consumption. This is where we have work centers, like explained before. We have machineries in different countries, Mexico, USA, and China. And we are looking at how much they did this year, 2010 and 2011, which one is consuming more, actually it's producing more, how accurate is capacity, are we producing up to 100% or more. If we have more ships, we can, in theory, also in practice, the capacity can be higher than 100%. And where are we producing? Mexico and China, and something really small in US. So this is some grouping of your work centers. And work center consumption is very similar to output of one particular item. We are filtering specific group of resources, let's say machines in Mexico, and then we're looking at what is the total quantity, how many hours this is running, what is the average cost per month, and what is the capacity of these items by period. So this capacity, are we using the full capacity or below capacity? So it's kind of interesting. We can group these elements together. And so we have seen output and input. And now we are looking at, are we good with our planning? So this is very, very simplified view. The real manufacturing is way more, but just to have an idea. So we are looking at expected and actual cost and quantities for our consumed goods and for our produced goods. So are we producing more or less, consuming more or less? Okay. So this would be a real quick overview about manufacturing. There is way more with this manufacturing, just to let you know that these are demo data and this is something to start with. And this is also the manufacturing decomposition. Sometimes it's also interesting to see what is the total cost structure here. Now I'm moving to another specific area, which also here we have done more than 100 projects. So we have done a lot of projects in application areas with business areas where are a lot of data consuming. One is manufacturing, another is retail. So we have done each about 100 plus manufacturing and 100 plus retail projects. And always there are 2-3 ongoing projects in each of these industries. So what do we have here? We have the retail data over time, where we are looking at the sales by period. And you can see that 15 and 16 means that this is a demo data from X 2012. Otherwise, we would have a more modern data, but this is where we're using the Contoso data set. So that's why the data are as they are. You can create the same dashboards by your data. Then are some specifics, buckets, where are we selling the items and how much profit we make, sales line and sales payments, information about location or store, and some specifics like basket value, number of documents, in this case are receipts, sales by the hour, and what is the percentage of wallet transactions here. Really quick through the retail, because retail is really a lot. We can do the retail presentation only for 2 or 3 hours just on the retail. You can see some of the retail KPIs. Whenever you see the POS, it means it's in the retail. Need sales. Of course, all the need sales in the POS also comes to the sales order sales, and there you will have a need sales. But as a category that is specific for the retail, we flag that transactions with the KPI or with the measure need sales POS, profit POS, or cost amount POS, POS, postal sales. It's not always POS, but it's easier to have something for the retail. Some statistics you can see. Can have it by date, by have it by store, and we'll not go through this again, but just to have idea really quick. And there is no reason why the same dashboard cannot be in the sales. And the same concept that we have seen before, we have a list of entities. This is sales by store, and then we have sales by date, like this one here, where we are checking how the category are developing over time. And of course we can, filter one specific store, like we have filtered one specific customer or item in the prior reports. And we are also looking some relationship between the two categories. In most cases, what we have sales and profit over time. You can see there are two categories, department store and factory outlets, where profitability is quite different here. And then the same information that we have seen already in inventory. It's inventory table. We just have similar KPIs as we have it in the retail. Items out of stock. This is really a little more problematic for a retail store to have items out of stock, because customer will not buy if they are not that present. And the information that we've seen before, together with a chart and top reports. We have seen these top reports already before in the top report for a particular period, where we see the shares of staff, the store, of item group, of contribution or share of specific entity, scatter chart, and some specific on the retail. So let me just go by time. A time shows the definitions by quarter of the hour. So you can see everything that you have seen in the sales by the hour, quarter of the hour. It goes to the quarter of the hour, when it is sales, basket value, number of receipts, some chart where the most sales is done, even though you have still open data, but most of the revenue is created here. Basket information. Basket information means if you buy, what is in that invoice, how this is distributed, where are the most expensive customer or items with the most expensive receipts, highest receipts coming on, what are they buying. So if I just check, okay, this is a bucket, what has been in this bucket, and then I can make some special campaign for these customers, because I have items, I have receipts, I can fetch customer and send them some specific offering. This is all interacted. Information about the payments. So again, this is retail. It's more common to see how the customer has been paid, because they can pay by card, cash, check, voucher, anything. So it's more often than not that we are checking what are the customer payment habit, and also cards will take you some commissions, or managing cash is expensive. You have to deposit it, so someone has to deposit it, and someone can do bad things with cash. So it's better not to have a lot of cash, but the habit you cannot change a lot, your customer habit. So this is about it. The composition tree about category, and where the profit is, and last transaction we have seen this, and information about where the customer habit are, voided transactions. This is important because here you are losing. Why are you losing here? So you have voided sales transaction or payments, and you want to see what is the habit. So percent of payments, no voided payments, but sales transactions, yeah, you have some transactions that are voided. So you analyze then what is the reason for these voided transactions. Usually can be operational issue and also fraud. And here we have price change. In our case, let's just see again if there is a price change. Obviously no. Scanned items, these are operational information, anything that you have in the dynamics, okay, not really coming into this picture here. And the retail dimension here. Good. So the retail, real quick, is available, as well as manufacturing. These are the two strongest application area. And then real quick about the other application areas. So for the purchase, and we have seen everything in the sales, so it's very much similar. Here the information is, are you buying items, are you buying cost directly or fixed asset, and we're analyzing that part here. The concept of analyzing purchase and sales is pretty much similar. Payables or receivables are also very similar. So everything that we have sent or shown for the receivables is valid also for payables. So it's also interesting to see the open documents and go to the document level, to the details. And last but not least are projects. These are standard application areas. We have done also a lot of payrolls and warehouse management, but some areas are not standard, so we don't have standard demo data, but we do have a wizard that generates the scripts quickly. So the projects also are here. Project means that we are consuming items, resources, and cost to produce a project item. And here we are looking at the trends about consumption and output, so that we can see this is a total overview for specific projects, and these are then projects KPI over time. And you can always filter project category and project name to see what's going on in the project. Okay, you can see, and information about this data here are coming from finance and operation. So this application area has slightly more structured project KPIs than information inside of the Business Central. So Business Central is a little more simplified, but still used a lot. It's heavily integrated in sales and purchase. Same here. It just has little more attributes you can see here about the project scenarios, and there are quite a lot of KPIs. This is actually one of the biggest application area in terms of the KPIs, because you have always item, resource, and cost, and then you split this data and repeat this several times in order to see what is the consumption, or what is the consumption of these specific categories here. So to predict the cash flow or profit or anything that is here. So this is something that we just highlight to let you know this is available. And yeah, and this would be an overview for the whole BI stack. These are the stack where we have demo data. There are some application area that we are supporting, but we do not have such a good demo data, but I guess this is more than enough. Now, if I would be interacting with you, I would say, do you have any questions? But I guess at this point, this is not easily possible. So now we're going to see if you have any questions from our poll gap. This is something that we are gathering here. Other than that, I believe we have covered the reporting. The good thing is that all these reports are available on day one. It takes a day or two for us to do installation. Right at the moment, we have like 6-7 installations pending. So it's always the question, when is the queue, when you have available your resources, and our resources, and we can do it. We do few installations every week. And so it's pretty much ongoing activity. Apart from the reports that are available on day one, of course, they can be customized, but we see that most customers are using these templates. We provide also Excel reports that are not so sexy, but are very, very, very useful. But let's focus on these reports. And the reports also can be published to the portals, can be accessed mobile. That's a part of the Power BI. We are not touching this here. And are customizable, of course. And yeah, that's a lot of content here. So maybe this is it. You can see the tooltip to give me the information about this. And we can have a look at the questions at the poll gap, because I guess we have covered what has been planned for today. And let's see the poll gap here. So let me just refresh the data. Okay, so this is a poll gap where we have different information. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So each time we do office hours, we are looking at the reports here, and these reports, these questions here. You can put a question now, and next time we'll be replying to this. What are the possibilities of customizing dashboards? Of course, you can customize. This is a Power BI, and you can also customize the model. So the right question is not, can you customize the BI4Dynamics dashboard, because these are Power BI or Excel dashboards. Can you customize the underlying model? And that's where BI4Dynamics is really strong. How does BI4Dynamics help international companies handling different currency? Actually, I already answered this. So each company can have its own local currency, and you choose in organization group one corporate currency. You must have it in your currency list for each company, and then the software will take care that each transaction will be available in local and in the reporting currency. And I've shown also that set of reports is available for both. So some part of the business you'll do local, you look at the local. Some part of the business you'll do with your vendors or your customers or your corporate. So you look at the corporate reports and ACY currency. How many levels of hierarchies can you drill down? Well, I don't really understand the question, because the question is how many level of hierarchy did you put to your report? If you put, I don't know, five dimensions, then you can go through a hierarchy multiple times as many hierarchies you have. And if you are drilling down with the attributes, then it also matters how many hierarchies attributes you have put. But maybe another question is, maybe the question would be better rephrased. Usually items have hierarchies. So in finance and operation, we have procurement categories. We can have 11 levels of categories. Now in Business Central, we don't have, we have similar item categories. Still, mostly they are using customer cost item category and product group previously, but now you can use also categories. So you can have, in theory, you can have unlimited, because you can nest and nest and nest, but probably most common, I would say 3 to 4 levels is quite good, because you can really make a nice decision making 3. And so this would be about answering the question. And let me see if we have forgot something in this session here. We didn't touch so much the reports in the Excel, which is also part of the reporting. And for financial and for manufacturing process, this is really very useful. And what else would we tell about the reporting? We have seen documentation. We have seen the processing. So I think we have covered most of our common requirements or questions when it comes to the reporting. The good news is that if you decide to go with BI4Dynamics, then this would be your first experience. Once we install BI4Dynamics data warehouse and process the data, then we attach all these reports to the underlying models, and this is where we start analyzing. So you get all the reports that you have seen quickly now in your environment on your data, and that's where exploration really starts. And you can see that one thing is for sure, that the scope of data is overwhelming, and it takes some time to digest all of the data. And many times, okay, I say once we install BI4Dynamics, looks like tsunami of data is overflowing you, and you need some time to get accustomed to the scope, to use the right aspect, but it's all nicely structured, colored, and it's Power BI. You can change any part. And this would be this. If I would have one-on-one interaction, I would ask if you have any questions, but on the poll gap, I think we have answered all the questions here. Yeah, I think we have now come to finish of today's session. So again, I would invite you to go to the live session. You have 2 live sessions. The one that we have been using today on demo, the same way you can use anytime, is the one available here. And if you are thinking about using Power BI as your front-end tool, and your scope of data is less, that's the only reason where you would use Power BI, where the size of data is something that Power BI can digest. Of course, Power BI can digest also terabytes of data, but managing this inside of the Power BI is way more costly, way more resource intensive than you would do it if you do it in the data warehouse. So for a small data, Power BI is great. And if you're not demanding customer, then it's great to have a Power BI reporting background. If you have more reporting needs and you have scalability needs, the data is growing, you want to have longer history, you don't want to waste your time waiting for refresh, then definitely going Power BI would be great. Now you may explore both. You may find something interesting in one and you would like to have it in the other, let us know. But if you're looking into the data, this reporting part is also looking very similar to the data warehouse based reporting, because we are the same designer, we are looking the same dynamics data. However, the underlying strategy is, let's say this is for small and the data warehouse is for big, like this, and you can imagine what is small and what is big. So this would be it, and I think we have covered all the questions, and I think we came to an end. So I would thank you everyone for being patient today with us, and we will see us very soon. In about 14 days, we are going to have another office hours where we are going to talk about getting data out of Dynamics, especially finance and operation, how to get data to Dataverse, to OneLake, and comparison to the export to data lake. This is something that we meant actually to be already in today's session, but we did get enough scenarios in a customer situation so that we can compare small customer with a big customer, how it was export to lake, how it's now Dataverse or one fabric, so that we will have really more experience in the following days, so that we're already registering all these situations, and in about 2 weeks we'll have another office hours. So until then, if you have any questions regarding the BI4Dynamics, just drop us on the sales@BI4Dynamics.com. Other than that, thank you very much for being present at today's session, and enjoy BI. Have a nice day. Goodbye.